And yes, I'm finally catching up with a Blu-ray and DVD update that was due 2 months ago. Normally I do these things every 2 months, but yeah, just life has caught up with me and I've just been way too busy to do anything. So yeah, sorry I missed the last one, but this is now me playing catch up. And because I've left it for a little bit long, yeah, there's quite a few additions to my collection to go through, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to get straight into it. Yeah, kind of in chronological order of the way I've been buying them, I suppose. So first cab off the rank, we have Ex Machina, which I've never seen before. I've heard absolutely amazing things about it. And yeah, it was a buy two, get one free deal. And I think from memory, I think I had picked 2 movies and had to pick a third one. And I just thought, oh, well, heard good things about that. So let's give that a shot. Next up, I got Jurassic World. This is a movie that I liked it, I didn't love it, and it was always one of those things that I thought one day I'll pick it up, because, you know, I've got all the other Jurassic Parks, and one day I'll pick it up when it's cheap enough, and again, this was part of a buy two, get one free deal, so why not, I say. Next one, I got Keanu, which, yeah, I saw this movie on Netflix quite a while ago, and it was before I'd actually got into Key and Peele. Like, I'd heard of them, I didn't know too much about them, and so I watched the movie because it's got a cat in it, and yeah, I dug it, but oh man, you know, then I caught all, was it 5 seasons of Key and Peele's show, and there was so many jokes in this movie that I didn't pick up on the first time round, like Liam Neeson's, for instance. So yeah, it was much better the second time around when I watched it. So yeah, I kind of thought that was worth adding to the collection. There's deleted scenes, gag reel and stuff on there. I imagine a gag reel with these guys would be a hell of a lot of fun. So there you go. Next up, I got Mortal Kombat. Why did I get Mortal Kombat? Because this was a few months ago. It was probably because everyone keeps talking about how, oh, I think it was around when Tomb Raider came out, that's right, and everyone kept saying that this was arguably the best video game movie ever made, even though, you know, it's okay. Yeah, so I just felt compelled to see it again, and I just thought, well, heck, why not add it to the collection? Next one up, I got Central Intelligence with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart. Yeah, it was a movie that I liked, I didn't love, and again, thought, yeah, one day when it's cheap enough, I'll add it to the collection. Again, buy two, get one free, so I thought, why not? Next one is The Big Lebowski. Now, here's a movie that, again, it was one of those movies that I dug it, not enough to add it to the collection, but then I hosted a screening of it on the big screen weeks and weeks ago, and it was one of those instances where, you know, sometimes when you see a movie on the big screen, it just changes your experience of it, and just having that communal experience with a whole bunch of people and everything, I don't know, I just found it a lot more rewarding that time around, and yeah, I actually really dug it a lot more, so I thought, well, you're going in the collection. Next one, I picked up Starship Troopers. I do have this movie on DVD, but I always thought it was one of those movies that would warrant an upgrade. Like, the special effects and everything was so good. It was just such a great looking movie. And my friend Chandler Langley, we once had a discussion about how no one talks about this movie anymore. And like, it's just such a great movie. I actually did mean to review it around the time, but never got around to it. So let me know if you guys want to see a review of Starship Troopers and we'll get a discussion going. Alrighty, next up. Yeah, now this is interesting. Okay, so, you know, a couple of months ago, Ready Player One came out, and I became absolutely obsessed with that film. I also became obsessed with everything to do with it. Now, in the book, the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail plays a bit of a part in it, as do a lot of other films, and it was one of those things, look, I've never been a Monty Python fan. It's not to say that I hate them or anything like that. It's just not my kind of humor. So if you're a Monty Python fan, don't go clicking dislike just yet, okay? Like, I totally get it. It's just not my thing. But I did all this reading into Holy Grail, and, you know, all these things were saying that, like, it's one of the greatest comedy films of all time, and you know, it's sort of like on so many critics' top 10 lists and all this sort of stuff. And I kind of thought, maybe I should give that movie another go. So I went and bought it. I bought the 40th anniversary super duper version, and so I sat down and watched it. And yeah, it was kind of funny, like seeing all the stuff, you know, that was featured in Ready Player One and that. But look, overall, it hasn't won me over. It's one of these things like, because, I mean, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who created South Park, like, they are such huge Monty Python fans. I keep seeing and reading all this stuff about Monty Python, and it's one of these things I've always wanted to get into. I've tried so many times, but I think I'm just, it's about time to give up. Another one that I got, speaking of the movie screenings that I've been hosting, Back to the Future was one that happened a couple of months ago. And as prize giveaways, I bought some copies of the Back to the Future trilogy to give away on Blu-ray because I found them kind of cheap. But yeah, thing was that this is like a new version, the 30th anniversary trilogy version, that has a whole bunch of new special features that my previous version didn't have. My previous version being this one that was actually autographed by Christopher Lloyd at a convention. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see it there. Yeah, met him at a convention a few years ago and got him to sign it, so that was pretty neat. But yeah, bought this just simply because there was a whole bunch of new special features on it, and yeah, they were actually quite good. I had no regrets about double dipping with that one. And speaking of double dipping, I got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because this is the 3D version, and yeah, a friend of mine's got a 3D TV now, so I get to see 3D Blu-rays, so yeah, I got that, which is kind of funny because it's only a 3D version in this one. Normally these things come with like 3D and normal Blu-ray, but yeah, that was just 3D. So I have 2 copies of Guardians Volume 2. And on the subject of 3D, I got Justice League 3D. Say what you want about the movie, I don't care, I really liked it. I had so much fun with it. Yes, it has tons of flaws, but I just thought the fun and enjoyment that I had watching it really outweighed a lot of the flaws, and I was able to forgive them. So yeah, I got Justice League, so And on the subject of superheroes, I also got Thor Ragnarok, which, yeah, was probably a much better movie. Very funny, probably a little too funny, but, you know, as a standalone comedy action film, yeah, it was really enjoyable. So naturally I had to get that one, especially considering I've got every movie in the MCU, so why am I going to stop now? And back to the whole Ready Player One thing. If you've read the book, you know why I got War Games. Aside from the fact that it's a really good film, yeah, this one also played heavily in the book. Because in the book there were these bits where Wade, aka Parzival, has to actually kind of play like a simulator of these movies where he plays Matthew Broderick's character in the film and has to get every line of dialogue correct in order to keep moving and stuff like that, which was really cool. But yeah, it just sort of got my little nostalgia trigger happening, and I was like, you know what? I need to see this again. And continuing the whole Ready Player One thing, I also got the Iron Giant, because now, please don't click off this video or unsubscribe or find out where I live and burn my house down, but I had never seen this movie before. I don't know why. The marketing campaign at the time it came out didn't do enough to really compel me to go see it at the cinemas, which I really regret not doing because, oh my god, this movie is brilliant. Especially when you go behind the scenes and find out like the story behind why the movie came about and all this sort of thing. Yeah, it all sort of stemmed from a gun-related tragedy, and it was really interesting. But oh god, the film was just extraordinary. And yeah, I caught this before Ready Player One came out because, yeah, of course, I just needed to know more about who the Iron Giant was, and I'm definitely glad I did. What else we got here? I got T2 Trainspotting, which I really dug. It was a great sequel, and yeah, but it was, again, one of those movies that I wanted to get when it came down in price. So we got 3 for $40 there. Who am I going to say no to? And another one that, again, I liked it, didn't love it. That seems to be an ongoing theme with a lot of these movies, was Passengers. For the most part, I thought this movie was really good. I just didn't like the ending too much, but I did like a lot of the sort of moral wrongdoings of this character, and yeah, it was a good flick. It was good, you know, it was just good. What else we got here? I got Pacific Rim, because I think this again stemmed to Ready Player One, because at the end of the book, during the major fight sequence, or major battle, I should say, it involves a lot more mechs than what we saw in the film, aka piloted giant robots. And yeah, I was just like, I don't know, I just sort of went on a little bit of a mech thing, you know, I needed more mechs in my life, and yeah, so I got Pacific Rim, which, yeah, again, I liked it. I didn't love it, but yeah, it's pretty good. What else we got here? We have got Game of Thrones, the complete 7th season, because I have all the seasons of Game of Thrones, but yeah, someone I knew hadn't seen season 7 or like one episode of it. I think it was the final episode, and that was as good an excuse that I needed to go and buy the season. Yeah, so I got Game of Thrones season 7 because it's Game of Thrones. Coming down to near the end of the list here, okay. My number one movie of last year, The Disaster Artist. I absolutely loved this film so much, and just yesterday I think it was, I've actually got tickets to see Greg Sestero, who's coming to nearby town, and I'm gonna get him to sign this bad boy right here, hopefully. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. But yeah, if you don't know what this movie is, I did a review of it, of course, because it was my number one movie of last year. Absolutely loved it, absolutely had to have it. Also had to have Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, I know a lot of people hate this movie. I don't care. I loved it. And yeah, got a cool steelbook thingy. Yeah, so that's pretty neat. And I mean, I've got all the other Star Wars movies. Why am I not going to get that? Oh, another steelbook that I got was the movie Swingers. This was a film that I hadn't seen since it was released back in the 90s, and I didn't really remember much about it, but I caught it on Netflix recently, and my God, this movie is so brilliant. It is really, really well written, and I went to buy the Blu-ray, but apparently it hasn't come out in our country or something like that. So I wound up having to get this limited edition steelbook version that I found, I think, from England or somewhere. I got it on eBay. Yeah, and it's really beautiful. It's like one of the nicest steelbooks I've ever seen. So yeah, Swingers, great movie. Well, last of the Blu-rays, I got 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Yay! I can say the title if I'm reading it. Sorry. For those who don't know, I just tend to find that title a bit of a tongue twister if I'm not reading it. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Okay, I can say it now. But anyway, yeah, I really, really love this film. This was one that I got the day it came out, because I cannot wait to see it again. Great film. Highly recommended. And then we got a couple of DVDs. There was one... Look, this is more of a guilty pleasure film. I got If Looks Could Kill with Richard Grieco. This is one of those movies that I owned it when it was on VHS, and oh man, many, many, many years ago, it was one of those movies I used to always put on to go to sleep to. It's just one of those junk food, switch your brain off and enjoy it kind of films. Yeah, watching it again now, I was kind of like, yeah, this is a bit silly, but whatever. It was only a few bucks, and you can kind of tell actually, because like the DVD slick looks like it's just printed badly, like all the colors are bleeding and stuff. So yeah, I don't know if it's an official release or whatever, but oh well, anyway, I own it. And I also own Dark Water, Japanese horror film, which I did have in my collection, but I lent it to somebody, and yeah, never got it back. Not her fault. It's just one of those things, but she's moved far, far away now, and I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm probably never going to see that DVD again. So yeah, I found one on eBay for like $5 or whatever. So yeah, finally, my Japanese horror collection is complete. And speaking of complete, that concludes all the stuff that I've been buying in the last 4 months or so. Let me know what you think of all those things I've just held up in front of you. Are some of them your most favorite movies of all time? Are some of them movies that you're like, dude, seriously, why? So let me know what you thought of them. Drop me some comments either here or on Facebook. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.